So hello everyone. Tonight on the Pearl Show, I'm going to have Mr. James Washington, and we're going to be reflecting and talking a little bit about a situation that occurred with him on Sunday, June 14th, probably about 9 something, right?
About 9:30.
About 9:30 in the morning at Spanky's on the south side in Savannah. And he was actually fired from his job for asking his employer their stance on Black lives and how much do they matter to them. So, James, go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, my name is James Washington. Quite a few people have seen and shared the video from what happened at Spanky's. I was born in Savannah, Georgia. I'm a product of Savannah. My mother was born in Savannah. My father was born in Savannah. They actually met at Savannah State University. My older brother was also born here, born in Chatham County Hospital. He graduated from Savannah State University. So Savannah is entrenched in my family DNA.
Okay.
So when I got back to Savannah, I was really excited to be here, excited to start thriving in the community. I loved the environment. I was happy to be home. And then to have something like this pop up, especially in this time, it really caught me off guard. It took a second for me to really regroup and think about some things. Like, this is not the image of Savannah that I ever knew, even coming to visit family or to actually, once I lived here, just to know that this is what's going on at certain places and our people are being treated like this was astounding to me.
So let's talk about your employment with Spanky's. How long were you employed with them?
I worked at Spanky's for about 7.5 months from the beginning of December of last year up until Sunday.
Okay. So walk me through the events. What time did your shift start that morning?
Okay, so I arrived at work roughly at about 9:30ish.
Okay.
For normal routine we normally open the restaurant earlier for the staff so that we can set up so that the restaurant will be ready to go prior to opening for the customers. So it's about 9:30. There's no customers obviously, just staff members strolling in, starting to do their morning prep work. And having been paying attention for a little while, having some conversation with a few different customers that have been in there, having some conversations with a few of the employees that have been there, I started to question the environment that I was in and that I was working in. And the more that I noticed that there was a certain tone, it made me, before I jumped to conclusions, I had to investigate.
Okay.
To at least find out, because sometimes you couldn't jump to conclusions. I don't want to judge anybody. I know I was born here and raised, I was born here, my family's from here, but I was actually raised in Bergen County. We left when I was very young. So I grew up in a region that had cultural diversity.
Okay.
So it's quite strange for me to encounter people that still maintain a certain mentality, because that's not what I encountered, especially through my upbringing and through school. And in Bergen County, like I said, it's a melting pot. So there's
different races,
Middle Eastern, there's Asian, there's Black, there's European, there's every race that you can think of in a melting pot, and we all get along and play together. And of course, there's always bias everywhere, but it was a little different in the environment that I came up in.
Okay, so how long were you at work before you proceeded to have that conversation with your GM? What made you want to ask that question on this particular day?
Well, I was at work and I was just doing all my prep work, and I had been I was actually having a conversation with who was I speaking with? I was speaking with with Reggie, who I also brought up in the
kitchen manager.
Yes, that's the kitchen manager. I wasn't talking to him that morning, but just prior to, maybe a couple of days before, we randomly had discussions about different things going on and some of the trials and tribulations he goes through managing the kitchen, just general work dialogue. And I remember him on multiple occasions bringing up to me that they won't let him be a partner, and they offer partnership to management and some of the other staff, and they offer this option. So that made me think. And then I started really looking around at the demographic of the restaurant.
Okay.
And I started noticing that there are particular people put in particular places, specifically in controlled numbers. There's only 3 black faces allowed on the floor. Me, 1 black female, 1 black busboy. Okay, that's a little weird. All of the staff in the back is black, primarily. There's 1 former kitchen manager who was demoted to just a regular cook. How he became a manager over so many other kitchen members who have been there for a long time and know everything about that kitchen, but they were all surpassed for him to become a manager, who was then demoted because it was shown that he didn't have the capabilities for the position, but he was given the position.
Did he have the skin color?
Yes, absolutely. Of course he had the skin color.
Okay, so that's why he was.
Oh no,
okay.
we know why, but like I said, I didn't want to.
You were still doing your investigation.
I'm doing my
at the time.
investigation. I'm trying to evaluate the company. I don't want to jump to any conclusions because I'm also thinking on the other hand, okay, they did hire me. Am I the token? I don't know. So these are things that I'm dealing with internally. And
I'm sorry.
And I'm also paying attention to silence.
Okay.
I started paying more attention to silence than noise.
Okay.
Because I started noticing that
Silence from maybe the other employees?
silence from other races, silence from anybody, just anybody in general. Because like I said, this movement has been making more than enough noise.
No, most definitely, it's all over the.
It's noise. It's all over the.
It's
all over the country. There's noise in New York. There's noise in rioting. There's noise in the protests. London, all over the world, there's noise. So I'm paying attention to the silence.
Okay,
Who's not saying anything?
So with that being said, tell me about the conversation. How did you strike the conversation up? What did you say?
Oh, I blatantly went to Bailey Williams, the manager.
Okay.
I mean, the general manager. And I asked him in a calm tone, nothing confrontational. Like I said, I was interested in sparking a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. It was investigative. I wasn't.
Is he usually there?
Oh, he's there all the time.
Okay.
He's the on-site GM.
Okay.
So, as far as below management, he's the next step in the food chain.
Okay.
I mean, below ownership, he's the next step in the food chain. So I went to him first, and also during asking him the question, I explained to him that I intend on asking the owners, asking the other managers. I wasn't singling him out or trying to put him on the spot.
You were just starting with him.
You're the first point of contact.
Okay.
So I'm going through the food chain. You're the first point of contact. I'm going to ask you. And I wasn't aware that there was another employee in the office. He was in the manager's office.
Okay.
So I went to the manager's office, nobody around, not trying to create a scene, having a quiet, calm conversation with the general manager of the company that I work for to find out what the culture really is at the company that I work for, to make sure that I'm donating my energy, time, and generation of revenue to the right people. So I asked the question. At no point in time did he say, no, we don't talk about that here, or I prefer for you to refer this question to an owner, or that's outside of the jurisdiction of my responsibility and title. He never made any of these statements. He proceeded to go on with the conversation.
Okay.
He explained that he definitely feels like there's injustice. He said that there are definitely, verbatim, his terms were, some people that get preferential treatment, and then black people don't. So he could specify that black people don't, but he wouldn't specify the some people. No problem. Still listening, paying attention.
Okay.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm rather intelligent.
You
I know
are.
how to decipher my way
I can
through things.
tell.
And there's not always necessarily a reason to get riled up. Of course, I can get riled up, as you've seen in the video.
Yeah, we saw that
Everybody
in the
has
video.
emotions, but
We saw that in the video.
I am very good at maintaining my composure when necessary. So we're having a conversation, and as he's explaining that he understands that there are certain things that black people overcome that other people don't have to overcome, and that Spanky's has always hired black people and consistently employed black people, and that's when he was stopped by Leanne Foss Phillips.
And who is she?
She is a female Caucasian server.
Okay.
Just a waitress.
So
just a white waitress.
Why would a server stop a general manager?
That I have no idea of. I don't know where she found it was in her jurisdiction.
How did she stop him?
I can handle this, Bailey. I can do a better job.
Oh,
of
that's what
explaining
she
it.
said.
She literally said, I can do a better job of explaining this, Bailey.
So what did she say after that?
Oh, she then proceeded to continue with the rhetoric of Spanky's has, since I've worked here, Spanky's has always hired black people. And then she made it personal. Yes, Spanky's has always hired black people. I personally love black people. My kid has black friends. Okay.
But you're asking about the
I understand
company's
all of
stance.
that. But what I'm asking is, one, what is not your personal stance, but what is the company's stance? And two, there's a difference between hiring black people and standing for and valuing black people.
Most definitely.
If you look at it, during slavery on the plantations, black people worked for the slave masters. They weren't valued by the slave masters, but they worked for them. Slave masters didn't stand up for them, but they worked for them. So it's very easy to acquire labor to generate revenue from a certain class of people or race of people, not even a class of people, but a certain race of people. But then you want to invalidate that same race of people.
So, where did your fired come in at?
Okay, so as she's explaining that, and I'm explaining to her the difference between hiring and employing black people and actually valuing and standing for them, that's when things went totally left. All of a sudden, I have not raised my voice at any point in time. Still maintaining the same even tone because I know how volatile a conversation this can be.
Yeah.
And I'm only doing investigative questioning. I'm not here to put anybody on the spot. I'm not challenging my company to step up and do anything. I just wanted to know where they stand on it. And from there, she stands up and, listen, boy, verbatim.
Wow.
Listen, boy, I'm not going to play this with you. I'm not going through all of this with you. Whoa, my only response, same even tone. Do not call me boy. I'm a 41-year-old grown man. There is no reason to call me boy.
So at that particular time when she said boy, what emotions were running through your body at that particular time? That's a derogatory.
Oh, it's very much a derogatory term.
Very much so.
And that was when I started to realize the true nature of where this conversation
And
was
the
going.
atmosphere.
And the true atmosphere, the true culture that I
And would
was
you
in.
say the true feelings of how she felt were really coming out?
You could see it coming out.
Oh, most definitely.
You could feel it coming out. You could, and Bailey watching it, you could see it in his face like, wait, but he said nothing. She then proceeds to continue to walk off and rant off. And as I'm continuing to say, the only thing that I said, do not call me boy. Now it graduated from boy to, pardon me, bitch. I'm not doing this. First of all, nobody asked you to do anything.
Why did she get so defensive?
This is what I don't know.
So at that particular time, after the name calling started, what happened? Because is that when you immediately went live?
No, I haven't gone live yet.
Okay.
No, this is
Okay,
live yet.
well, get us to that point.
So Bailey then comes out of the office. She's still on the other side of the bar now. I haven't approached anybody aggressively. I've been maintaining my same position, maintaining my same even tone, demeanor, and everything. Bailey then comes out and says, okay, that's enough. Go home. No problem. I totally understand what's going on. He's diffusing the situation. Everybody go home. No problem. I grab my stuff. I start heading towards the door.
So did he send her home as well?
He just said, go home. I wasn't even standing to see who he was talking to, who he wasn't talking
You
to.
just got your stuff.
No problem, go home. I've already seen and started to acquire the information that I needed to acquire. So go home, no problem. I see where this is going already.
No problem.
I start to leave. She is still irate. Why she's irate, I still have no idea. First of all, you're irate about a conversation that you invited yourself into. You had no reason to say anything.
She didn't.
You're not a black
The
person.
general manager, right?
You're not a manager. You don't outrank the manager that I am speaking to. What reason do you have to be a part of this conversation? What can you speak to about the culture of this company more than the general manager of this company?
Very valid point. So after you got your
He
stuff,
then says, okay, everybody go. I grab my stuff. I'm heading towards the door. She continues to be irate.
so she's following you at this time, or
She's still standing in her spot,
Okay.
being irate, yelling. I'm roughly right where I am, probably maybe the other side of you is about where she is. Bailey then comes out and stands about a half step behind us, but in between the two of us. Everybody go home. Right, I'm on my way out. She continues, don't come back. Wait a minute, let me just double check. Make sure that this pertains to me also, because I still am not saying anything, so I want to make sure exactly what's happening right now. Don't come back. Am I being fired? Yes. Why am I being fired? I haven't done anything. I didn't argue with anybody. I haven't done anything. Why am I being fired? I'm not doing this with you.
That's what the general manager said.
That was the explanation of why am I being terminated. That was the extent of the explanation I got for my termination. I'm not doing this.
So when he proceeded when he said that you were fired, he's not doing this. Did he give you a separation notice of this?
No, there was no separation notice. There was no nothing.
So he just told you to leave and you were fired.
Get out.
So once you left, that's when you immediately went live.
That's when I went live.
Okay, so
that
tell
second.
us about that, because you told me, I watched it and you said, I never really do this. Why did you feel the need to go live?
I'm going to be honest with you, I have no idea where that came from.
You were mad. You were
furious. I needed to use my voice.
And
I felt like I can't be the only person who is experiencing these type of things, which I found out from the live where other people have commented on that same restaurant.
The same restaurant.
There were people that were commenting on my quality of service in their facility. So obviously, there's something going on here. I had to voice that. I noticed that when even the concept of the protest coming to Savannah, I noticed how it was downplayed and almost warded off. So I paid attention to that and I was like, okay, Savannah is the type of city that's going to allow certain things to go as long as no feathers are ruffled. Population of black people here is way too strong for no feathers to be ruffled. The workforce of black people in Savannah is way too strong for no feathers to be ruffled, ever. How many black people get up and go to work every day and deal with nonsense? Deal with unnecessary, unhealthy, unnourishing work environments where you can be abused and used up for your labor, but nothing more. People down here go into jobs knowing that there's a ceiling that they're going to reach. They know ahead of time.
They do.
I might be a department manager. They know ahead of time. They know that they're not going to be site manager. That's just an understood given that it's not going to happen.
So why were you prone on asking the company that stands on Black Lives?
Because, like I said, I am a black life. I don't get to. I've seen a lot of people saying that, oh, when you're at work, you only talk about work issues and you don't have your personal issues and you don't bring up certain topics at work. When I clock in, I don't stop being black. When I hit that time clock, I don't cut off my blackness and become just a Spanky's employee. I'm still a black person. I still have to be black. I still have to deal with everything that comes along with being black in every environment all the time. We don't get to turn that off.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So since and I know a lot of people want to compare it to, because there is a white homosexual waiter that waits there. And he chimed in a few times and he's actually running for an office seat, which I'm very proud of, and I commend him for that. And he chimed in and said, okay, I won't ask the job about the culture and how they feel about gay people. I just go to work. But you don't get to, if you don't tell anybody you're gay, nobody knows.
You're right.
I don't get to tell people that I'm black. Like I said, I can't turn this off.
You're right.
This melanin don't go away.
So with that being said, you mentioned earlier that you had already been investigating, you had been seeing certain things, hearing certain things. What made you stay so long?
It was serving a purpose. I can't lie. Like I said, I'm an entrepreneur, and that was supporting my personal life while I grow my business, my graphic design and custom shirt business. I still have to be realistic and live in the world. And you need, in order to get to a level of wealth that I hope to achieve, you need at least 3 streams of revenue. That was one of my streams of revenue. I'm not ashamed to have a job while I'm chasing a dream. Nobody should ever be ashamed. I don't care if you got to work at McDonald's, whatever you are doing, as long as it's within the means of the law and you feel morally good about what you're doing and you know your goals and what your mission is, don't ever be ashamed of any job that you take in order to reach your goal. I don't care if you're sweeping grass. If that's your job, you sweep all the dirt about the grass, take the money, and reach your goals. Sometimes you have to look at the big picture.
The bigger picture.
And I was willing to look at the bigger picture, but ultimately I realized my bigger picture was a small portion of a much bigger picture.
So, have you ever had any other encounters with racism at Spanky Southside while working there?
Like I said, it's just there's an underlying culture there. I noticed that black people come in and they get sat in tucked off sections of the restaurant. I've seen them be neglected by the white servers. I've noticed to the point where I've gone and picked up tables because I've watched black tables just being completely ignored.
Wow.
And they've complimented, like, thank you, I should give you the tip, I wish, why were we, like, I've seen this and I've experienced it there. That's what made me investigate further. Like, there are just too many coincidences happening for it to just be coincidence.
So in your video, you mentioned some of the white bussers calling.
Well, they see, and this is where another one of those fine lines come in. You can be comfortable enough around black people to feel that you can indoctrinate our terms and our terminology and our language and our culture, but you can't stand up for the lives that you want to impersonate. Yes, you want to use our slang, you want to listen to our music, you want to wear our clothes, you want to hang with us, and you want to do the things that we do, but you don't want to stand up and say, no, don't kill them. No, don't unfairly profile them. No, don't harass them. Don't stand on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Don't shoot him in the back. That's, you don't want to stand up and say, because that will cause too much problem. But you can condone, I'll chill with you. I'll let you make money from me. That's the culture there. And that culture is more than just there. I've noticed that's the culture of the workforce in Savannah.
So in your video, your live video on Facebook, you have only over 50,000 views and counting. You mentioned something that stood out to me. You said when whites hear the term Black Lives Matter, they start to cringe. Tell me what you mean, elaborate, because that was so deep.
Well, if nobody noticed when I was shooting the video, like I said, I had left the premises. So I was walking through Savannah.
You walked fast too.
Like I said, I was raised in the Northeast, so we walk New York City blocks and move at a Jersey pace, and we move
everything's fast.
So I was walking, and I was noticing as I was walking and I was shooting my live, anytime I said Black Lives Matter, black, if I just saying the word black, I would notice white people around me would cringe or look around and feel like they were acting like I was cursing at them.
Wow.
All I said was black. How did we get to a phase in this country and to a place in this country where we have done so much of the building of this country and we do so much to make sure that this country continues to thrive every single solitary day, but you can cringe at the sound of the word black?
Do you think a lot of issues are being swept under the rug?
There's too many issues being swept under the rug. That's why they cringe when they hear the word black, because they don't know what's going to come next, what's going to be exposed. And even the people that are white that aren't necessarily blatantly racist or necessarily for the officers that do negative things or the environments that create this type of culture, but they know if they speak up, they have to give up the privileges that come along with that culture.
So how do you feel about white privilege? What's your stance on that?
It shouldn't be. As black people, we're not looking to get preferential treatment. We don't want to be treated special.
We just want equal.
We want to be treated equal. We have the exact same value. That's the only thing we want to express. Y'all respect our intellectual property because you steal it all the time and repackage it and sell it. Y'all respect our work ethic and our labor because you hire us and get rich off our backs. But you don't value us as equal people to enjoy the fruits of the same labor that we're putting out.
So how do you feel about the rioting, the protesting, the looters?
I've never been an advocate of rioting. I'm not now. Even after what happened, I'm still not an advocate of rioting. But I can empathize. I can understand getting to a point of frustration where you don't know what else to do because you're trying to explain to a certain people a certain point and they're not getting it, so you try to turn up the way that you're expressing it. They're turning up in the wrong way. I don't ever feel like anything is going to be accomplished by destroying. But to destroy buildings and to destroy properties, that's not going to accomplish anything. That's not going to get our point across. All that's going to do is to continue to push the narrative that we're savages and that we can't express ourselves and that we can't seek change without having to tear everything down and destroy everything. These are the things that we built. These are the things that we want to enjoy, so why tear it down?
Right. So, James, I received a video today, and I would like you to hear it.
Okay.
And I want us to talk about it.
Absolutely.
I want you to tell me exactly how you feel on it. This was actually from one of your coworkers.
Oh, I heard about that. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
So we're going to let everybody hear it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then we're going to talk about it.
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm alive. I'm alive. Man, I'm at my job at the lovely Spanky Southside, you know. And all that stuff that James had going on, talking about this, that, and the third. That man is tripping. He is tripping for real. Cause Spanky Southside, nigga, it ain't nobody here racist. It ain't nobody here racist at all. I'm like, people say certain things, people do certain things, but ain't nobody here racist.
So people say certain things and do certain things.
See,
Okay.
Ain't nobody here racist.
They're not racist, then why are they saying certain things and doing certain things?
People.
Just saying.
Even if it's just two people, I don't care. I want everybody to see this shit.
It's not.
No, it is.
Oh yeah, what's up, Zaki, man? Man, for real, man. We love each other up here, man. We bring peace. We bring a lot of stuff. So all that stuff that y'all been hearing about the job, cause that job is not true, man. That job is not true. That job is not true. Do not let nobody tell y'all different. I work here. I've been working here for the longest. I've been working here for the longest. I'm going live. I'm going live so everybody know that everybody at Spanky's.
Just my baby.
Shut his job.
Man, everybody at Spanky's. Man, because nobody ain't racist at this shit, cuz it ain't nobody. Come fill out an app. Fill out an app. Fill out an app.
And you can work in the kitchen.
Man, because nobody at my job is racist. Nobody at all. So I'm kind of pissed off that James will even manipulate of any kind of sort of any type of thing. Cause
You mean like you getting a raise after the whole
nigga,
thing
I'm the
happened?
black person
Before
that
you did this
see
live? You
in
want that
the
info?
video.
I'm just, you know.
And the lady that he called a racist, that lady take me home almost every day. That lady take me home because she was racist. This lady wouldn't take me home. This lady wouldn't have want nothing to do with me, man. Yeah,
Well, because she
man.
feels like you're not like them.
Like I said,
That's what
long
they
story
say.
short, I'm not even about to talk y'all head off. That shit really pissed me off. So,
Okay, so that was a video that was sent to me.
No, I know him. I know him very well.
So let's talk about that. Cause that's very It was very, I don't know what were my emotions when I got the video, but
I mean, if you paid attention to the video, it was a little bit contradictory in itself.
yeah, it definitely
It said, I mean,
was.
certain things happen here, and certain people
Yeah,
say certain stuff,
exactly.
and maybe one or two people, but overall it's not racist. And the white lady, yeah, she takes me home, and if she was racist, she wouldn't do that. First of all, stop shucking and jiving, dog. Let's just keep it a buck. You got paid a raise after this whole pandemonium nonsense kicked up, and all of a sudden you go live. You're the same person who was just complaining days before that happened about how you got demoted back from your position after being there for so many years. You're the same person who would talk with me about the fact that they won't let Reggie be a partner. So you can shuck and jive and hug on them and have them tell you that there's no racism there, but what happened? You watched what happened.
Yeah, because he was actually in the video.
Yeah, you were
And
in
you
the
were
video.
recording.
So how come when I was making the video and you could actually hear me saying these things, why didn't you have those sentiments then? Where were you to jump on the live? You seen I was willing, I put the camera on everybody. You could have had that same conversation then. Why? I understand that you need that income. I understand totally. I understand that I'm taking a sacrifice right now. If I gotta be the sacrificial lamb, that's okay. I'm built for this. I got a whole different type of grind in me. So I understand that everybody can't speak up the way that I can. I understand everybody's not gonna be willing to take a stance and say, listen, enough is enough. Some people can't risk that. I'll risk it for you, bro. Don't even worry about it. I got your back. You can be mad at me if you have to, but I promise you, this is for you. This is not for me. This is for you. This is so that you can be in a better environment while you continue to generate revenue for that company. So they can value the fact that you're in there sweating for hours. I've seen you put in grind for them. I'm not mad at you. I understand. I understand that I get to be a voice that everybody don't get to be. It's okay. I got us, baby. We good. You keep working. And you keep doing what you have to do to make sure that you need to get to where you got to get to. And I'm going to keep doing what I have to do to make sure that that road is more comfortable for you.
So James, there's one more thing I want to ask you before we conclude our interview.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking legal action or is that?
Yes, I have contacted the NAACP. I've contacted the EEOC. I did file my unemployment. I've reached out to a couple of different attorneys. I've gotten some advice. The main advice that I've gotten right now is make sure that it goes through the EEOC.
Okay.
And that was why I was so adamant about making sure that I filed the unemployment. It wasn't, honestly, I didn't even file it right away. They advised, listen, file the unemployment so that it fits the track record of everything that happened. So I'm following protocol. But yeah, I definitely don't. This is not going to be the end. I am going to continue to pursue this. And I'm going to continue to pursue other instances where I see that this isn't right. Like I said, I had no intention on being an activist. I didn't decide this was going to happen for my life. I didn't decide this is where it's going to go. But if God put this in my lap and this is where God wants me to go, that's where I'm going to go. So if I have to go every place and find out just to make sure that black people are being treated fairly, let's go. Well, I got time today, like they said in the other video.
Well, I definitely want to thank you for being a guest on the Pearl Show today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It really meant a lot to me for us to tackle these issues head on as they arise in the community or within any place. It's always good to tackle something head on and get the facts from the primary source. I would like y'all to share this video if y'all haven't already. Tag someone, tag anyone, because this could have been anybody.
And I just want y'all to know, Savannah, I'm the face of the new black. We're educated. We're not afraid. We're fed up. Enough is enough. We don't have to tear our city down to put our point across. But it's going to get across. You're going to hear us. As the workforce and the backbone of this city, you're going to hear us. And you're going to respect us. And you're going to treat us as such. And we're not going to stop until you do. We don't have to tear it down for it to happen, but it's going to happen. I promise you that. And for everybody who says that, oh, I shouldn't have brought up being black in the workplace, did I get to not be black in the workplace? When you can figure out a way for me to not have to be black at a workplace, then I can stop talking about being black in a workplace. Until then, I'm black all the time, baby.
And I want to thank everyone who watched the Pearl Show tonight. Don't forget to follow me on all social networks at Pearl the Celebrity. Subscribe to my YouTube at The Pearl Show. Follow me on Instagram at The Pearl Show. And y'all have a great night.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
You're welcome.